The corner of Peachtree and North Avenue had been Diane's corner for 11 weeks. She had not chosen it for any particular reason. She had simply stopped moving without direction. The pharmacy overhang provided shelter from rain, and foot traffic was consistent. Many people made eye contact, a small comfort in her daily routine. At 34, with a cup and a sign, she learned the city's rhythms. She knew productive hours, generous weather, and the faces of regulars. She wasn't performing destitution. She was living it. The money went to the pharmacy for a monthly prescription, $280, and to the specialist's office on Piedmont Road, $40 per visit, monthly. The rest paid for a weekly room on Memorial Drive, with thin walls and inconsistent heat. Her child was not with her. Isaiah was with Mrs. Patterson, a kind neighbor. Mrs. Patterson, 68, recognized need and responded without explanation. Isaiah, 3 years old, had his mother's eyes and his father's jaw. A heart condition diagnosed at 8 months consumed all their resources: savings, apartment, network, jewelry, furniture, and finally, the car, all gone. Isaiah knew none of this. He knew Mrs. Patterson, his mother's voice, and his stuffed elephant. These things were sufficient for him, the most important fact available. Diane watched foot traffic, doing the daily arithmetic: prescription, copay, room, food, Mrs. Patterson's payment. The arithmetic always came up short. This shortfall was her reason for being there. She had made peace with the reason, not accepting it permanently but enduring it. At 4:17, a car stopped at the light. It was a black SUV, communicating wealth without ostentation. The driver turned to look at the corner. Diane registered the car, knowing when to approach and when to stay still. She didn't approach stopped cars. It made people uncomfortable, closing windows. The light changed. The SUV did not move. It moved forward, then pulled to the curb, prompting another honk. The door opened. A tall man emerged, his presence preceding him. His gray suit, white shirt, and expensive shoes announced his category. It was Thursday, not Tuesday, and it was unmistakably Nathan. Nathan Hargrove, 38, founder and CEO of Hargrove Development Group, worth $600 million, her ex-husband. She looked at him. He looked at her. Of all the corners in Atlanta, in 11 weeks, this was the one. She did not move, nor hide, nor show shame. She had nothing left to protect. Nathan Hargrove's presence did not diminish her clarity. He crossed the street. He stopped in front of her, looking at the cup, the sign, then her. "Diane," he said. "Nathan," she said. He did not let her stay on the corner. This was not a question he asked. He said, "Come with me," she said. "I have somewhere to be," he said. "I'll take you wherever you need to go," she said. "I need to go to Memorial Drive," he said. "Get in the car." They drove in silence for the first 4 minutes. The silence required acknowledgement. "How long?" he said. 11 weeks on that corner," she said. "Before that, other things." "How long other things?" 2 years, she said, "since the apartment." He was quiet. "I'm not going to tell you the whole story in this car," she said. "I'm going to tell you where I'm going and you're going to take me there and then I'm going to get out." "Diane." "Nathan, I don't need you to rescue me. I need to get to Memorial Drive." He drove to Memorial Drive. He pulled up in front of the rooming house. He looked at it with the expression she had expected. She did not comment on it. She opened the door. "Wait," he said. She waited. "Are you safe?" he said. She thought about this honestly. "Yes," she said. "It's not comfortable, but it's not unsafe." "Do you have—" He stopped. "Is there anything you need immediately? Tonight?" She thought about the prescription, the copay, the weekly room rate, Isaiah's medication, Mrs. Patterson's small payment, and the specific shortfall that she calculated every day. "No," she said. "I'm fine for tonight." She got out of the car. She went inside. She did not look back. She knew he was still parked there when she got to the second floor because she could hear the engine. She knew he drove away 3 minutes later because she heard the sound change and then diminish. Mrs. Patterson had Isaiah in the kitchen, reading him something that involved considerable sound effects. Isaiah looked up when Diane came through the door and said "Mama" and went back to the book. Diane sat on the edge of the bed in the room that was hers by the week. She thought about the corner on Peachtree and the black SUV and the gray suit and the 11 weeks, and the 2 years before that and the 5 years before that. The 5 years before that were the marriage. She had married Nathan Hargrove when she was 27, and he was 31. The company was 4 years old and growing. She had been an architect, a real one, with a portfolio and a firm she had been building. Clients who came to her specifically and a reputation that she had earned through 7 years of work. She had not married Nathan for his money because Nathan's money had not been the scale it was now. The marriage had been good for 3 years, not uncomplicated but good in the ways that mattered. They had been honest with each other. They had built things, individually and together. She had designed 2 of the Hargrove properties. Her firm had grown. Then the company reached the level where the pressure of it changed Nathan in ways she could see, a quality of presence that moved from them to the company, not dramatically but continuously, until she lived alongside a man who was physically there and operationally elsewhere. She had tried to say this. Nathan's response to discomfort was always to solve it. He bought jewelry, he cleared weekends, he did everything except be present. The divorce had been his idea technically. He had said, "I think we want different things." She had said, "I think you want this thing you've built and I'm in the way of how fast you want to run toward it." He had not denied this. The divorce had been filed when she was 6 weeks pregnant. She had not known. She had found out on the Thursday. After the papers were served, receiving 2 large things simultaneously and having to process them separately. She had not told Nathan. She had thought about it for 3 weeks with precision, understanding that this decision would define the next 20 years. She had thought about the custody arrangements, the financial entanglement, the difficulty of co-parenting, with a man who was excellent at providing and poor at being present. She had decided not to tell him, not from anger and not from strategy, but from the honest assessment of a woman who knew the man she was divorcing, and understood that the child she was carrying would be better served by a complete mother than by a complicated arrangement with a man who would do everything right and very little of what actually mattered. She had been wrong about the financial part. She had not known it was going to become what it became. Isaiah had been born healthy. The diagnosis at 8 months had arrived without warning. During a routine visit, with the specific careful tone of a doctor who had looked at something and was about to change your understanding of your situation. Pulmonary valve stenosis, moderate severity, manageable with medication and monitoring and possibly requiring intervention. The medication, the monitoring, the possibly requiring intervention. These things had cost, cumulatively and specifically, everything she had. She sat on the edge of the bed on Memorial Drive and thought about the corner on Peachtree. And Nathan's face and the 5 years, and she thought, I have been making the right decisions for my son, and the right decisions have produced this room on this street, and I do not regret any of them, and I am also very tired. Mrs. Patterson knocked and came in with Isaiah on her hip. He wanted Mama, Mrs. Patterson said. Diane held out her arms. Isaiah climbed in and arranged himself with the specific economy of a small person who knew exactly how to fit against his mother and settled there. Good day, Diane said to him. Mrs. Patterson did the bear, he said. Very loud. The bear is always loud, Diane said. Optimally loud, Isaiah said, with the specific satisfaction of a 3-year-old. She held him and thought, this is what it was for. This is the accounting. The phone rang at 8:15. It was a number she didn't recognize. She answered it. I need to talk to you, Nathan said. Not tonight, when you're ready, but I need to talk to you. She was quiet. I know things, he said, about the divorce, about what happened after. He paused. I found out things today that I should have known a long time ago, and I need to tell you what I found out. She looked at Isaiah, who was asleep against her arm, with the absolute confidence of a child who had no reason not to trust that his world was safe. Not tonight, she said. No, he said. Not tonight. Whenever you're ready, she said. I'll call you. And she hung up. She looked at the ceiling of the room on Memorial Drive and she thought about what he had found out, and she thought about the timing of the finding out, and she thought about the specific architecture of a situation that had been producing consequences for 5 years and was apparently not done. Nathan Hargrove had found out on the afternoon of the same Thursday he had seen Diane on the corner. He had not gone back to the office. He had driven to his house in Cascade Heights. He sat in the house designed to communicate success, feeling the discomfort of looking at his life accurately. He called his attorney, Victor Reeves, saying, "I need to know everything about the divorce settlement, pull the files." Victor had pulled the files. The divorce had been settled 5 years ago with a lump sum payment. It was intended to represent a clean break, structured to avoid ongoing financial entanglement. Diane had accepted the settlement without counterproposal, which struck Victor as unusual. What neither Victor nor Nathan had known was the context in which Diane had accepted it. She had accepted it while managing the early stages of a pregnancy she had not disclosed. Nathan did not know about the pregnancy. He had not known for 5 years. He thought about the calculation a woman would make to accept a settlement insufficient for 2 people. He had not given her reason to believe he would provide well for a child. He called a private investigator he had used for business acquisitions. He said, "I need to know everything about my ex-wife's circumstances over the past 5 years. Today, if possible." The investigator called back at 6:30. Nathan listened with specific attention. The account was systematic and thorough, rewriting a history he had believed he understood. Diane had maintained her architecture practice for 2 years after the divorce. The practice had declined not from any failure of her work, but from a combination of factors, including reduced capacity due to a medical situation that required significant personal time, and the withdrawal of 2 major client relationships that had come from a specific source. The source was a man named Derek Cole, a commercial real estate developer. He had withdrawn a significant contract 1 week before execution. He made comments suggesting Diane's firm had a problem with reliability and follow-through. These comments had traveled in the Atlanta commercial real estate community. Two other clients who had then withdrawn. Derek Cole worked for Marcus Webb. Marcus Webb was a competitor, not in the same markets, but in an ambient competitive sense. 2 men building simultaneously in the same city, with years of minor frictions. Nathan had not asked Marcus Webb to damage Diane's practice. He wanted to be clear about this. He had not said, "Do this." He had not even thought it. He had told himself she was fine, that the settlement was sufficient, that the clean break was clean, but he had communicated enough about his feelings regarding Diane in a casual, ambient way. Marcus Webb or someone in his orbit had decided to act on what they had heard. The result had been the destruction of Diane's professional practice over 18 months. She had lost not because of anything she had done, but because someone with connections made her lose, and she had rebuilt nothing because she had spent the years managing a child's medical condition. Nathan sat in his house and thought about the corner on Peachtree and the paper cup and the cardboard sign. And he thought about the settlement that had seemed clean and the practice that had not been allowed to survive, and the child he did not know existed. He thought, "I did not do this." He thought, "I also did not prevent it. And the reason I did not prevent it is that I did not look. The reason I did not look is that looking would have required me to care about what happened to her. And caring about what happened to her would have required me to be the kind of person I was not ready to be." He called Victor again. "I need to make a transfer. Tonight, I need to find out Diane's current financial situation, and I need to address it completely. Medical costs, housing, everything, tonight." "Nathan," Victor said carefully, "you need to have a conversation with her before." "I know," Nathan said. "I called her. She said not tonight." He paused. "I need to have the capacity to act. I need to know what's needed and have it available. I'll need information about her situation." "The investigator has it," Nathan said. "I'll send you his report." "Nathan," Victor paused. "There's a child." "Yes," Nathan said. "Your child." "I don't know that legally," Nathan said. "I know it circumstantially." The timing, the decision she made not to tell me. He paused. I understand why she made it. You need to understand it legally as well, Victor said. A DNA test, a paternity establishment, yes, Nathan said. I know, in order. First the financial situation, then the conversation, then whatever she's willing to allow. He paused. I'm not going to use the legal process as leverage. I'm going to use it as documentation, once she's agreed to let me be involved. And if she doesn't agree? Nathan was quiet for a moment. Then I find a way to be useful from a distance, like she has been doing, from whatever distance she decides is right. He hung up. He looked at the house around him. He looked at the specific successful emptiness of a home, which communicated the specific cost of having been so focused on achievement that actual life had gone elsewhere. He thought about a 3-year-old child he had never met. He thought, I don't have the right to be devastated. The devastation would be a luxury I have not earned. He went to his desk. He opened his laptop. He began to work, because working was the thing he knew how to do. And what he was working on tonight was the only problem that mattered. Diane called him on a Saturday. She had spent Friday thinking about it with the specific methodical quality she brought to decisions that had large and irreversible consequences. She had thought about what he had said. I found out things I should have known, and she had thought about what things he might have found out, and what the finding out meant for the architecture of the life she had constructed around a decision made 5 years ago. She was not afraid of the conversation. She had been afraid of many things in the past 5 years, and she had learned to distinguish between the fear that was a signal and the fear that was just the weight of a difficult thing. This was the second kind. She called him at 9 in the morning while Isaiah was with Mrs. Patterson. He answered immediately. Thank you, he said. Don't thank me yet, she said. I need you to tell me what you found out, and I need you to tell me the version that's true, not the version that's most favorable to you. Yes, he said. He told her about Derek Cole and Marcus Webb, the withdrawn contracts, and comments that had traveled through the community. He told her about the investigator's report and what it contained. He told her what he knew and what he had concluded, and what he believed his role was in what had happened, which was the version that was not favorable to him, the version where his passive failure to care about what happened to her had created a space that someone else had filled with active harm. She listened without interrupting. When he finished, she was quiet for a long time. I didn't know about Marcus Webb, she said finally. I know, he said. I believe that. I thought I lost the clients because I couldn't keep up, because of Isaiah. She paused. I blamed myself. You shouldn't have, he said. The loss wasn't yours. She was quiet again. Isaiah, he said. The word in his voice was careful and enormous. Yes, she said. Tell me about him. She thought about this. She thought about the elephant he slept with and the bear Mrs. Patterson did very loud. And the word optimally and the specific weight of him against her arm when he slept. He's 3 years old, she said. He has a heart condition, pulmonary valve stenosis. It's managed with medication and monthly monitoring. The cardiologist says he's stable and the prognosis is good. As long as the management continues. She paused. He's very smart. He uses words like optimally. He tells very long stories about things that happened to him that I'm fairly certain he invented. Nathan was quiet. He looks like you, she said. I need you to know that I know that. I'm not going to pretend it's ambiguous. Why didn't you tell me, he said. Not accusatorially, just the question. Because I knew you would do everything right, she said. Provision, legal structure, appropriate financial support, all of it. And I thought that doing everything right without being present was going to hurt him more than having one fully present parent. She paused. I made a decision based on who you were at 31. I don't know who you are now. I'm not certain I'm different enough, he said. I appreciate the honesty, she said. What do you need? He said, right now, for Isaiah, specifically. She thought about the prescription and the copay and the room on Memorial Drive and the specific shortfall. She told him. He was quiet for a moment. That's addressed as of today, he said. The medical costs, the housing, all of it. Victor has the details. It doesn't come with conditions. Nathan, no conditions, he said. It's not leverage. It's not a negotiation. He's my son and he needs care that I should have been providing, and I'm going to provide it. That's separate from whatever you decide about everything else. She sat with this. I need you to understand something, she said. I don't want you back. I need you to hear that clearly. The 5 years happened, and what happened to my practice? Happened, and I have been on that corner for 11 weeks. The sum of that is not something I can put aside because you showed up with money and a realization. I know, he said. I'm not asking you to take me back. I'm asking if you'll let me be useful to Isaiah in whatever form you decide is acceptable. She looked out the window of the room on Memorial Drive at the Saturday morning Atlanta going about its business. The people on the sidewalk, the traffic, the specific ordinary quality of a city that had no opinion about any particular human situation and continued regardless. Isaiah needs medical stability, she said. He needs to not be in this room. He needs to know his father eventually in whatever way we can make safe for him. She paused. Those are the things that matter. Yes, he said. Knowing him will require you to actually be present, she said. Not to provide, to be in the room, with the story about the invented thing, with the bear that Mrs. Patterson does very loud. If you can't offer that, the money isn't sufficient. Nathan was quiet. I don't know if I can be that person, he said. I think I want to be. I don't know if wanting is the same. It's not, she said, but it's where it starts. Isaiah comes first when he needs you. You come. Yes, he said. I'll know if you mean that or if you're saying it. I know you will. That's one of the things I understood about you when it was too late. She was quiet. Victor will send you the medical account information today, he said. The housing, there's a unit in a building on Ponce de Leon. Safe, good schools nearby when the time comes. Month to month, so you're not locked in. It's yours if you want it. She thought about the room on Memorial Drive, the thin walls, the inconsistent heat, and 11 weeks on a corner, and the prescription that needed filling in 9 days. Yes, she said, I'll take the unit. Good, he said. Nathan, yes, I'm going to need time, she said, with all of it, the trust and the access and what Isaiah knows, and when, I'm going to need to move at a pace that's safe for him, not fast. However long it takes, he said. Don't say that if you don't mean it, she said, because I will hold you to it. I mean, it, he said. She believed him, partly. The proof would be the time itself, the Tuesdays when he came and the ones he didn't, the stories he listened to and the ones he missed. She had made peace with uncertainty before. I'll call you next week, she said, after we're settled, and Nathan. She paused, the corner on Peachtree. I'm not going back. The point is Isaiah, not that. I know, he said, but I'm glad. She allowed herself this. Me too, she said. She hung up. She sat in the room on Memorial Drive and looked at the specific quality of a Saturday morning. That was the same as the Saturday morning before it and the one before that. And she thought about the unit on Ponce de Leon, and the prescription and the copay and the cardiologist and Mrs. Patterson who would need to know there was a change coming. And she thought about a man who had been standing on the sidewalk on Peachtree with an expression that was not surprise but something more specific, the expression of someone whose understanding of their own life had just been substantially revised. She thought, he might be able to do it. She thought, I have no way of knowing yet, and the not knowing is where we are, and the not knowing is acceptable. She called Mrs. Patterson. We're moving this week. A pause. The good news first, Mrs. Patterson said. Diane smiled, the real version. Isaiah is going to have a room of his own, with a window. Good, Mrs. Patterson said. He told me yesterday he needed a window for scientific purposes. He told me too, very specific about the purposes. She looked at the room on Memorial Drive. One last time, the thin walls, the inconsistent heat, the specific weight of a place that had been shelter, when shelter was what was needed. You held us, she thought. That is what you were for. She stood up. She had a cardiologist to call and a unit on Ponce de Leon to see and a son who needed a window, and these were real things that required real action, and she was a person who knew how to take it. She stepped out into the Atlanta Saturday, which continued at its own indifferent pace, the city where the next part of the story was going to happen. She did not know what it looked like yet. She knew it would be better. That was enough for today.